Good evening and welcome to Sundays with Neelu. How are you? Thank you so much for all your story responses on Edison's story, Thomas Alva Edison's story. And thank you so much for all your YouTube subscriptions. And those who didn't subscribe can go to my Instagram profile, and then below the profile pic, there is a YouTube channel link, Indigo Stories. So you can tap on the link and you can subscribe for my channel and tap the bell icon to get notifications. Okay, so that these stories reach more people. So, what is special today? Today's speciality is I'm doing this story from Delhi. Yeah, I'm on some work in Delhi, and I'm doing this story from my hotel room. Yeah. So today I picked up the fashion designer Coco Chanel. Yeah, she's a European designer. As you all know, Paris is the hub, yeah, for fashion. So we are talking about Coco Chanel. Chanel is someone who those who use perfumes and all know who is Chanel. Yeah, Chanel 5 is a very popular perfume. Yeah. So, Coco Chanel was in 1883, she was born, and she was very active till 1971 and passed away roughly at the age of 83. So, what is so special that I picked up this story? This is not like, a social worker or someone who created value. So, why are we talking about her? What inspiration can we draw from her? She was a revolutionary, she was a modernized designer. So she believed that, Chanel believed that clothes are meant to be practical. She brought a revolutionary change in women's dressing. So that is what makes her special. So during those times in 1920, those were the times when women started coming out of their homes, started taking up different kinds of jobs. Yeah, this is post World War One. Yeah, so that was the time there was this jersey cloth which was available, and that was sold in the market, and Chanel took that and made lovely collarless cardigans, and she made those strapless thin strapped tops. Those are yeah, shoestring shoulder straps, those kinds of things. So she was like, floating scarves, in the evening for women to wear, because those days women in Europe used to wear those gowns or long skirts, and they were very uncomfortable. If imagine if in Europe women were like that, that the where fashion happens. So there's no need to talk about rest of the world. Yeah, it was so difficult for women to, they had to stick to the norms of the society, so they had to be in restricted clothing. So Chanel actually broke the norms, and uh, she designed different kinds of clothes which are where women can breathe, they can be free in those clothes. So that is what I liked about it. There's a lot written about Coco Chanel, but I will only share points which have inspired me, yeah, and strictly from my point of view. And she actually revolutionized clothing, completely women clothing. And on top of it, like, she opened her own store in 1919, and on 31 Rue Cambon in Paris. And that was the day she became very, very popular. So from then, all the elite, those people who were very rich and all, bought her clothes. And the fashion, like, it became a fashion all over. So she basically believed that fashion is something which is on the streets, in the sky, everywhere. Fashion is something which you adapt to. Fashion is not a restricted idea. Fashion is a free idea. So that's what she believed in. So she in personal life, she had a very, in her early childhood was very tough, and she went to a religious convent, and her mother passed away, and there were three children. And Chanel actually had to leave that religious convent, and then she broke all the norms. And then in around 1918, she got out, and she made all these different kinds of clothes and all. So, and there was a period, like, lull period in her life, 16 years, where she didn't do anything. She shut shop because 1939, when the World War II happened. So she decided not to club fashion and war together. So, and that was the time she was also dating a German official, who was against France. So there was a lot of interrogation which happened against Chanel. She was very popular for these rumors, but no evidence was there. So they had to release her from the interrogation. So that was a brief account which I read, and I don't, I just read it out of curiosity and I'm sharing it with you. But more than anything, she was a modernized fashion designer who broke all the fashion norms and brought freedom to women in terms of clothing. Yeah, some of her clothes are collarless cardigans, shoestring shoulder straps, floating evening scarves, junk and real jewels. So many of the rich had to put their jewelry in their banks because she introduced this, wearing junk jewelry. Like, how can you combine all kinds of, see, till today we wear all the junk jewelry. Yeah. So she launched her own perfume, Chanel 5, Chanel. Yeah, yeah, I think, yeah. So it's very, very, Chanel 5 scent is her trademark perfume. We all know that. So all these are very trademark to Coco Chanel. And I chose this because I really liked the fact that she brought freedom to women. Yeah, that is also something which we need to be inspired about. So I remember when I went to Istanbul, I took a flight and, I took a flight till Egypt. And from Egypt, I had to fly to Istanbul. So I was wearing a long salwar kameez, a white, beautiful Hakoba salwar kameez. Those in India know what is Hakoba, hand worked Hakoba. So the way I was treated, when I first time I was going abroad, so I really didn't know anything. I was in Indian clothes and I happily wore them. Nowadays Indian clothes are very popular. Like, 13, 14 years back, these were not popular when I went to Istanbul. So when I got off the plane and when I actually walked, they treated me very badly. Badly in the sense they pulled my passport and they said, this will be on the reception desk, and please, like, come tomorrow to collect. So with no, I'm not mentioning any country or anything, but that was how, like, those were the days when, they treated like that. So I stayed in a five-star in the airport itself, and next day I had to go. And can you believe it, when I was returning from the same airport, like, 6 months later from Istanbul, I was dressed up in, checkered trousers, and, I was wearing a nice top, and the way people received me were like, madam, what do you want, what do you like to eat. I was served a very beautiful meal in the restaurant. And then I felt that, this is the difference. Not that clothes make everything, but yes, being presentable is very, very important, especially if you're traveling around the world, and, if you're doing things, be it education, anything. You don't have to wear expensive clothes, but you have to be really presentable. Yeah, this is very one of the important things which I learned during my international trips. Yeah. So, thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for listening to this small account on Coco Chanel. And I really want you to give your responses on this story. And I am doing it from outside. I don't know how you'll respond to this. Yeah, please respond, and I will answer I will respond to all the comments which are related to the story. I'll see you again next week, only on Sundays, with Neelu. Till then, stay cool, be happy, and be fashionable, and be presentable. And you all are young, energetic. Yeah, take those revolutionary steps and create something new in your life. Okay, good night. See you.